Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to listen up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
So this is officially how we start the off season. Thank you, KK. It's Phil and Rye on Listen Up. And before we get down into this podcast, I want to wish this person right beside of me, since we're not going on officially now on Saturday. This is a very early Friday morning that we're bringing this news, Ryan, to everybody. But this news was released on Thursday, yesterday. So wasn't able to get the video out until now. So we appreciate everybody. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ryan, the number got up to 2.8 thousand for the subs. So we appreciate everybody that much more. Ryan, I want to wish you a happy birthday, and everybody else comment away in that comment section below and wish Ryan a happy birthday, April the 12th. And Rye, in this episode, we're going to break down Cadence Samuels and what this means for the UConn Huskies. As we just found out not even 12 hours ago, reports have it that the UConn women's basketball guard Cadence Samuels enters the transfer portal. And Ryan, I have to note to you, she is a Forestville, Maryland native. So I kind of didn't want to see this, although I think it was best for her and her family, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you for the birthday wishes. But yeah, I think if we would have predicted who was going to hit the transfer portal, if you would have said, well, one player is going to hit the transfer portal for UConn this season, I think a lot of people would have probably predicted it would have been Cadence Samuels. And I remember last year, a couple of people in the comments during the all season saying possibility of Samuels transferring out last year, but it is a little unfortunate. You mentioned her being a Maryland native. I think I saw somebody in the comments hinting at maybe she returns home and plays for Maryland. So we'll have to see where she lands now, but maybe pairs up with Brenda Freese at Maryland. So it'd be pretty
Ooh.
exciting for her. But
This sounds like we may have to get her on the podcast, Ryan.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I think it really is unfortunate whenever you do have a player transfer out. But like we said before, and had a couple players last year transfer out and hit the portal. Doesn't always work for everybody. Unfortunately, everybody can't play in every game and get double digit minutes. But Samuels, her freshman season honestly didn't have a bad year being a freshman. Averaged about 12 minutes, averaged 5 points, a little over 2 rebounds, so not bad for a freshman year. And I think a lot of us were hoping she could kind of develop and play a little bit more this past season now during her sophomore campaign, and unfortunately that's not quite what happened. Now, to my surprise, she did play in 33 games this past season, but she did only average a little above 5 minutes, about a point and a half at rebound. So not much production, unfortunately. Really only got in the games this year when it was a really big blowout towards the end of the game. So just unfortunately, it didn't quite work out for Cadence Samuels. I think how she would have wanted her time in UConn to go, but unfortunately, not quite enough opportunities. But I do think it probably is the right decision for her, and hopefully, she can find a team that's the right fit and she gets more playing time. But the good news is she leaves UConn as a national champion.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm glad you mentioned that because when you go out on top, no matter how much you contribute or how little, the fact of the matter is you contributed, right? You were on that
Yeah.
team, you put in work, and whether that was in practice, how about all the times we talk about all the players, especially who else, but the amazing KK Arnold that puts in that energy, right? Paige Bueckers, the legend that went through UConn in these last, what, 4 or 5 years. How many times have I brought up on this podcast and everybody else think about it? How many times you and I and everybody else, even the media, do not see what players go through, the hard work when the camera's not on them? Who is that athlete I'm thinking about? What is the saying, Ryan? Work your hardest, or how hard do you work when nobody's watching, So that's kind of what I think about. And when I think about these players not getting a lot of playing time in UConn, look, it's challenging. We've seen it before. It's okay. We've seen plenty of young ladies go through here, and it's not for them. It's totally fine. She's not the first. She won't be the last. Fact of the matter is, Ryan, I point to you is thank you, Cadence Samuels, for coming to UConn, for having that care and that trust in this elite program, right, Ryan? And again, it was a amazing thing to cover her on the years that we've had her here. So again, I want to thank Cadence Samuels and the Samuels family for everything. The Maryland native, and not only that, Ryan. Again, talk about performance on the court. She didn't get that many minutes, but yet again, how about what she did to help this team get better? We didn't see it. We didn't see it. We don't cover practice. We're not at practice, but just another way to think about it.
Yeah, and to look to the future now, with Samuel's departure, this does leave UConn now with, I believe, three open spots on the roster. I
Mm.
think they already had two, so this opens up a third spot in terms of the scholarship spots on the roster. So potentially, maybe UConn brings in two or three players from the transfer portal for themselves this season. So that's going to be exciting to keep on watching that. As we said on the last video, there's players that are committing elsewhere to different teams. There's a couple players that today that transferred in and out. So that's been fun to watch so far. But yeah, like you said, thank you to Cadence Samuels, everything she provided for this team. It was fun to watch her the first 2 seasons she spent with us, but like I said, hopefully she can find a pretty good fit somewhere else, and we'll definitely be keeping track of that and seeing where she lands.
Oh yeah, let's go over to comments. Let's see, Ryan, where that lands. How about a fan says, "Hey guys, just wanted to say great job. You both did go see her and bringing us the best in highlights for the UConn Huskies. The meaning to ask you if you noticed that KK Arnold just about owned the fourth quarter of the championship game, the way she drove down the lane 3 or 4 times and scored. It was just like the icing on the cake. Have a great summer and keep everything going on next year. Thank you again." Good point. That's a good point. You just wonder when that adrenaline really takes over, Ryan. We know KK Arnold has even more in the tank than what she showed so far.
Yeah, I think she had a lot of adrenaline during that fourth quarter. That was something to watch. The game was kind of already over by that point, but it really was fun to watch KK Arnold just take over during that fourth quarter. It can't doesn't really get any better than that during a national championship game, and for her to just put on a show like that for pretty much the whole entire fourth quarter, just kept driving the lane, getting buckets of falls. That was really, really fun to watch. I'm sure a special moment for her that she'll always remember, and hopefully that can be a really good sign heading in towards the off season. Now she can work even harder, carry that momentum into this next season.
How about Mike, Ryan? Mike said, "I never miss any of your podcast. I look forward to them every day."
Well, we definitely appreciate that. We appreciate everybody that tunes in, but we know there's a lot of you that tune in to every single video and some die-hard fans, so we definitely appreciate that as well.
For sure. Right. Michael Lawson said Paige Bueckers will be missed by UConn. However, her presence is everywhere. Of course, she will show up to some big games UConn will play, but she is everywhere. Right. Yeah. Don't let me break the tissues out right about now because that is true, Ryan. I mean, when a person like that touches you, that means so much as a legendary athlete on and off the court, yeah, I mean, she don't even have to be in attendance, but yet she's still there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I said, her Paige's legacy is going to last forever now in UConn. It would have before, even if they didn't get it done in the national championship game. But
Mm.
the whole narrative was that was the last missing piece to her puzzle, and she was able to do that and really cement her legacy into the basketball world, and especially to UConn now. So definitely, we'll never forget Paige Bueckers. Her name will have so much meaning for years and years and years to come in Husky Nation.
This one is a good one for this episode, mind you. Breaking news. Elise Define said, breaking news, sad. Cadence Samuels has entered the transfer portal. Gino once said, I have big plans for her.
Maybe it could have been this season. You just don't know. But I think this past season was definitely disappointing. That like I said, she played in a lot of games. Only three less than her freshman year, but didn't get as many minutes. So, with the new freshman coming in from this past season, there's a lot of other factors that, and like you mentioned, there's some stuff behind the scenes that might go on that we might never know about. So there's a couple different factors that it could have been, but I think Cadence Samuels has a lot of potential, and hopefully she finds a team where she can really showcase her talent.
All right, Ryan, we'll wrap it up right there for now. Again, we appreciate everybody for tuning in this late. It's hanging on 1 in the morning, right? 1 in the morning on a Friday. TGIF. We hope everybody catches this video when they wake up in the morning, on the drive to work, on the way home to work. Enjoy your weekend. And Ryan, a farewell to the Forestville, Maryland native, Cadence Samuels on Listen Up.